Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the evening session of Being Heartful Every Day with Swadhyaya. As we arrive at the final evening of this theme, letting go, confidence, moderation, zero footprint, we are invited to pause and sense what has subtly shifted within us over these days. Often, the completion of a theme in heartfulness is not marked by insight alone but by a quieter inner condition, a sense of lightness, reduced urgency, and greater inner coherence. This evening, rather than adding something new, we allow these qualities to settle into silence where understanding matures naturally. Letting go, as this theme concludes, becomes the capacity to trust completion itself. We notice that when something has served its purpose, it need not be carried forward. This applies not only to the experiences but also to teachings. An Abhyasi learns that the true assimilation happens when we stop holding and allow wisdom to integrate quietly into being. Confidence at this stage is reflected in inner sufficiency. There is less need to seek confirmation either from others or from our own thinking. The heart feels capable of meeting what comes next without rehearsing or preparing excessively. This confidence rests in readiness rather than control. Moderation reveals itself as steadiness at the point of completion. There is no rush to move on, nor hesitation to let go. One learns to conclude fully whether it is an activity, a thought, or a phase without emotional surplus. And life continues but without drag. Zero footprint now expresses itself as inner cleanliness at the end of a cycle. Nothing remains unfinished within. The mind is not busy summarizing, evaluating, or preserving. The heart is free to rest in simplicity, unmarked by what has passed. When these qualities are integrated, life begins to feel less cumulative. Days do not pile upon one another inwardly. Each experience concludes, leaving awareness fresh for what allows. As a heartfulness practitioner, this marks a significant refinement. Spiritual life no longer feels like a process of accumulation but one of gentle purification. Living becomes quieter yet more present. Heartfulness Way reminds us that refinement is best honored through silence and continuity of practice. Meditation sustains depth, cleaning maintains purity, and prayer supports surrender. We trust that the sense of this theme will continue to express itself naturally through lighter engagement, clearer perception, and a heart that leaves no trace behind. Dear sisters and brothers, if you come across someone who feels inwardly burdened by unfinished emotional cycles or mental carryover, this theme may have quietly prepared for you to listen more deeply. Sharing heartfulness practices such as master classes, BHED sessions is an act of presence. And we would encourage you to please extend the invitation of this with your family and with your friends. You'll find the additional reading material on this theme as well as videos of revered Daji, which are available on the Heartfulness app. And you can access this material under the Sunday tab dated 28 December. With this, we will now resume the inspirational reading, which continues from the Heartfulness Way book 2. We have finished reading the chapters, but we'll revisit the chapter Letting Go, which is on page number 67 of the book. Revisiting a spiritual literature like this help us deepening our understanding. The text is not going to be displayed on the screen, therefore, you are kindly requested to keep the copy of your book along with you and you can read along. Daji, can you speak to us about the importance of letting go and accepting whatever life brings? I remember once you were having a conversation with meditators from Eastern Europe and they asked about surrender. You said, think of surrender as letting go. Then you added, acts done with love are akin to surrender. That was so helpful for me to let go and do whatever we do with love. If you wish to grow, cultivate the attitude of letting go. Of course, I don't mean letting go of responsibilities and duties. Rather, to take any new step, you need to let go of the previous one. Trees let go of old leaves to grow new ones. The cycle of growth requires letting go. You will never be free from the pulls and pushes of worldly life until you master this. Letting go is an attitude more than a principle or quality. In worldly life, we have responsibilities, we earn money, and we juggle property and possessions. We form various types of relationships with people within our families and at work. Sometimes they are harmonious and sometimes not. Some dissonance and friction is natural because no one is perfect. When two imperfect people interact, it's natural that some rough edges will create noise. Problems arise only when we are unduly attached to any of these things. Then our ego get involved in a disproportionate way. If we do everything with love, we are free from worldly ties even though we live in the world. Running away from life can take many forms, including asceticism and also addiction to digital gadgets, video games, drugs, alcohol, food, and work. In contrast, true renunciation is a state of contentment and acceptance, especially accepting the transitory and changing nature of worldly things. We are contented come what may. Isn't such a state worth aspiring to when we let go? Desires loosen their grip on us. Without desires, we don't create samskars. I repeat, without desires, we don't create samskars. We only need to undergo the effects of the existing samskars, most of which are removed through the heartfulness practices. As the coverings melt away, we become lighter, experiencing finer and finer states of existence. It is our choice. Let go